Hello, my beautiful movie peeps. Thank you so much for clicking on an episode of Side Flick. My name is Chris. Let's talk about some movie news, baby. Some of the things we're going to be diving into here today, guys, is we got a new featurette for Five Nights at Freddy's that was released where we finally get Matthew Lillard talking about his role just a little bit. We got some rumors about how they're planning to make the next two Saw movies, as well as even some details on the Kick-Ass reboot. We're going to be talking about that along with so much more, so you guys know the drill. Leave your thoughts down below. I'm this close to 600,000, guys. Hit that subscribe button, please. What will it take for you to be part of this channel and family? You want me to make out with the clown behind me? I'll do it. Give Papa a smooch. He didn't want it. Sorry, I'm just in a silly goose mood. It is Spider-Man 2 week. I cannot wait to play this game. I know it's not really movie news, but yes, I'm gonna be streaming the game here on YouTube, and all the reviews coming out are pretty positive, and some of the new looks that we've gotten of Sandman, even frickin' Mysterio, they webbed up Mysterio's peener. This game's definitely a 10 out of 10, so be looking forward to Friday and that weekend where I'm just going to be streaming Spider-Man nonstop. But jumping into our first movie news story here today, since we are talking some Five Nights at Freddy's later in this video, a lot of Five Nights at Freddy fans are also Markiplier fans. And we just got the second trailer for his upcoming movie, The Iron Lung, that I gotta say, was kind of a badass trailer. Now, even though it's the second trailer, they don't do much to like show you footage, I think, from the actual film. It's more of the main character, this convict who's put inside a submarine on a distant planet that's filled with an ocean of blood where a twisted sea monster might also be lurking in there. But I just love the imagery going on here. The voiceover gives you a small idea of the plot of the movie. Honestly, pretty cool promo, but I need that next trailer, Markiplier, to show me some footage of the actual submarine and everything else going on in this film. On that, pretty great, and it's so inspiring just seeing other YouTube content creators making movies now. Soon it'll be my time and you'll be forced to watch what cringiness I create. Moving on from there, something kind of interesting that Netflix is wanting to explore that I'm kind of mixed on. We had a report come out from Variety that Netflix is wanting to open up their own permanent retail spots. The description for these are, they're described as mini theme parks that will serve food and drinks, sell merchandise, and include immersive installations for popular Netflix titles. This is kind of an interesting move for Netflix because now they want to further explore some of the IPs they've created, because Netflix is desperately trying to create their own IPs, whether it's Squid Games, Stranger Things. They feel they now have enough where they could open up stores, maybe like in a mall location or somewhere out in very populated cities. I'm assuming places like LA, New York, and they're one-stop shops for you to enjoy just merchandise from whatever Netflix provides. This reminds me of when I was a kid. I remember there being Warner Brothers stores where you could buy Warner Brothers merchandise, and I always loved going into stores like that were dedicated to merchandise off my favorite movies. It's just funny how it comes full circle with Netflix, taking down stores like Blockbuster that were, like physical media merchandise type places, and now they want to open up their own. I know here in Dallas where I live, they opened up a Stranger Things store that was like up for like 6-7 months, and it was entirely dedicated to Stranger Things merchandise, but also they created the living room space from one of the homes. I guess those pop-up shops were kind of successful and they wanted to do it, so I throw it off to you guys. I feel like I could see this working. Kind of seems like maybe a smart idea for Netflix. Would you guys be down for a physical location where you can buy merchandise based off Netflix original things? Something else you might want to keep an eye out for this October is apparently there's a film convention known as Show East, where a lot of studios like Sony, Walt Disney, Paramount Pictures all come to this film convention and kind of talk about some upcoming movies. I don't know if this is as big as something like CinemaCon. In fact, this is like the first time I ever hear about it, but the reason I'm talking about it is because we had Scooper Cryptic HD Quality let us know that at this convention we might get 2 teaser trailers for movies we're really looking forward to. They say here, a teaser trailer for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is being prepared. Mark your calendars for the 23rd to the 26th as well. Some teasers and trailers to be announced, one of them being Sonic 3. That's kind of interesting. For one, let's start off with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That's one movie I'm like, let's see how you do here. Matt Reeves set the bar so high for the Planet of the Apes films, and this is now Disney taking on the property, wanting to start a whole new franchise. It's supposed to still be set within the same continuity of the Matt Reeves movies, just like years later, I'm assuming where the world is more ape than people. The first look at that footage is gonna set a big impression on whether I'm excited or not for this series, so I'm looking forward to that. Now, when it comes to Sonic Movie 3, I kinda didn't expect a teaser trailer to be happening anytime soon. In fact, I don't even expect this thing to be that long, no more than maybe 30, 20 seconds. We know that they are currently filming the movie right now, and we had set photos pop up, and the reason they're able to film the movie is because most of their characters are CGI non-living things, and that's what they're focused on filming instead of the actors who are currently on strike. But I'm surprised to hear that maybe they have enough filmed for like a small teaser trailer. I assume it's probably just gonna be a bigger design reveal of Shadow the Hedgehog, but also keep in mind, this is one of those conventions. We know CinemaCon, they held that footage to themselves, so we could just end up reading descriptions of these trailers, and well, you know, I'll report on that for you. So don't have your hopes up too much whether we'll actually get to see this footage, because you know how these conventions be sometimes. Moving on here, we got an update on a franchise I've been waiting for something to happen with. Kick-Ass. Now, if you're still someone who has not watched the 2010 movie Kick-Ass, I highly recommend it to you. It is based off a graphic novel that I've read, and I think this is one of those rare times the movie is better than the comic. And well, we had Matthew Vaughn during New York Comic Con give an interview about the reboot he's planning for Kick-Ass. He said here, this reboot is on a level that is like, I'll probably get sued. It's like nothing we've seen. We thought about Kick-Ass, we're asking, do we bring back the characters for Kick-Ass 3, and maybe one day we'll do Kick-Ass 3 with the characters? But that world needs to be reignited, so it can't be Kick-Ass without it kicking ass and making people go, what was that about? He elaborated a little further, saying here with the reboot, so we've written something that is so effing crazy that I'm really excited about, and it'll probably be announced in about 6 months to a year because I want to get it cast properly. And you know what? That's really exciting. It's nice to hear him say maybe one day we can do Kick-Ass 3, although I feel like the time has passed for that. As much as I love that first movie, second film was okay for me. Hearing them say he's making it so effing crazy that he thinks he's gonna get sued by the people who watch it out of trauma, that might be a good direction to go in. I just hope it's not all about shock violence and being gory and bloody for the sake of it, because I really think that first movie is kind of profound in its story a little bit. I really got into the characters. It made my little 15-year-old butt kind of emotional. It's just a gem of a movie, so I'm kind of excited to see what they do with the reboot. I just hope they don't mess this up. Let me know what you guys think about the Kick-Ass reboot. Bringing us here to talk about some Saw rumors. Now, take this information with a grain of salt, but I've seen other scoopers kind of back up what they're saying here. And well, we know with the recent Saw movie, Saw X, it's doing great numbers, both in audiences, critic score, and box office. It's doing pretty decently for a Saw movie, and we know they're gonna keep milking this franchise, and heck, that's fine as long as you keep making these movies good. And well, the latest rumor here is that Lionsgate is seriously considering 2 more movies, and this is the plan for them. Saw 11 will still be a prequel, which that makes sense to me. I'm still a firm believer that Saw 11 is going to take place between the events of Saw 2 and Saw 3, since there's a 6-month window in there to do a bunch of stuff with John Kramer before he gets axed off in the franchise. But then the interesting part is that Saw 12 would then be something to conclude the franchise, you know, quotation marks conclude, because we know Saw and the way they like to conclude things. But this one would finally take place after the events of Saw 7, Saw 3D, one of the worst in the franchise, and maybe end off the Hoffman storyline or just tie up all loose ends. This, I think, could be a smart way to go with it if they're going the route I'm thinking. As much as I love a lot of the crazy storylines and things that happen in the Saw universe, I do think it's time to wrap up this entire world, put it to rest, give it like a 3-4 year break, then, you know, give it that reboot treatment. That's just my opinion, but that's what we kind of have going on right now in the Saw universe. I think for sure we're getting one more movie, but we'll see what storyline they go on next. It's just kind of interesting to see them start up a whole new mini trilogy here. Something else I found kind of interesting that I definitely wanted to talk about with you guys. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about how Avengers Secret Wars was being rumored to be the setup for a soft reboot in the MCU. This soft reboot would essentially kind of reset the things in the MCU, bring back characters that are dead, except this time maybe recasting them, setting up a whole new continuity where most likely the mutants were always around, the Fantastic Four were maybe the first family in the MCU, and other things like that. But that was just a rumor at the time. Now it seems like we have some concrete evidence. Right now, there is currently a book being made by a bunch of writers who had a helping hand in creating the MCU, where they're going to go through a lot of the behind the scenes of building up the world. And during an interview, one of the writers of this book had this to say. We have a quote from Kevin Feige sort of implying that like Secret Wars will serve as a soft reboot in which they can prune everything. That's not like, to use a Lokiism, prune everything that's not working and just keep what is working, or bring back people you thought were gone forever. And again, I think this is a smart and great idea with it, because yeah, while I'm excited for like people like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men to be part of the MCU, I still wish those characters were in a world where, you know, Captain America, Steve Rogers was there, or Iron Man, Tony Stark was around the corner, and they could all interact with a full, complete universe that doesn't have some people dead or some people not showing up because they cost a little too much money. This way they can bring back an Iron Man for the MCU. It'll be someone they have to recast, but that way they don't have to pay Robert Downey Jr. $50 million to show up for like 5 minutes just because of old contract obligations. So yeah, I'm down for this. I just wonder if there'll be much of an MCU audience when Secret Wars comes out, because every new movie, every new TV show, it feels like there's maybe less and less fans kind of getting frustrated with the brand. I don't know, that's just me, but what do you guys think? Bringing us now to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, because they've released here a featurette called A Look Inside, where it's only 1 minute 38 seconds long, but it gives us small tidbits of footage and the cast actually talking about the movie. Now, obviously, all this stuff was filmed before the actors' strike, which is why they're able to show it. But man, at least for like Matthew Lillard, it's nice to see him other than his like career counselor outfit that we've seen in every single trailer. We know he's playing the character of William Afton, and he's gonna have a huge role in the film, but all of the trailers have only shown the man in one spot, in one desk. This is not Five Nights at a Desk. And with director Amitami keep mentioning how his performance is really creepy, eerie, and he brings this likable kind of horrific sense to William Afton, I'm like, I can't wait for those scenes because you're hiding them from me. It's nice to see him in an outfit that he's most likely wearing when he's working on the animatronics, or maybe when he's inside the spring Bonnie suit. This definitely feels like some sort of mechanic suit that he'd wear during the creation of a lot of his animatronics. It's still just so funny that they have him named Steve Raglan when it's like, we know your name is William Afton. Fans were also very quick to point out that all the other stars, whether it be Mike, Josh Hutcherson, or Abby, they only showed their first names. No last names in here, even though we were told they were Mike Schmidt and most likely Abby Schmidt. Them hiding the last names in here is like, oh, they're probably gonna pull off the Afton family connection here and make them all related. They also give off a little bit of personality details involved with some of these animatronics, like mentioning that Bonnie is the most aggressive one. There's this shot of a puppeteer talking about the movements of the animatronics, and in the background you get to see some spring Bonnie suits. I know there's still fans complaining that they wanted the spring Bonnie suits to look a little bit more green, since that same suit is what later becomes Springtrap, and a lot of the games in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 have the suit looking green. I'm actually a big fan of the yellow on purple. It just kind of looks a little unsettling, and some of the shots that we've already seen, they're filming spring Bonnie in a green lighting, so you'll still get kind of that green hue either way. And you know, there's always the next movie once spring Bonnie becomes Springtrap that they maybe dirty up or green up the suit a little bit. But with every piece of good news, there must come at least a little bit of bad news, and we got the confirmation here, guys, that unfortunately Markiplier, who is largely associated with Five Nights at Freddy's, at least with the online fan community, has confirmed he will not be cameoing in the new movie.
But I did want to talk about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I know I've been very ambiguous about it. I know I've been very mysterious about it. And it's kind of been a thing where I was hoping that there would have been like some schedules aligning, but I did want to say straight up, without any qualification, I am not going to be in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And I know that's crushing, and I know that's disappointing, and I know there's a lot of people that really were hoping that would be the case, but I wanted to say unequivocally that unfortunately, I'm not.
You know, it seemed almost like a given because he was dropping a lot of hints, and it seemed like he had some sort of contractual obligation not to talk about the movie at all. I was going to put down large sums of money he was going to show up, and It sucks that he can't be part of it. And I don't think this is some sort of trick or some sort of like, he's just trying to get you ready for when he pops up in the movie. I think he's being 100% serious, and there's always 2 more movies for him to show up in. He makes it obvious that they attempted to have him be part of the movie, and they were wanting him to. The schedules just didn't align. But I know for some Five Nights at Freddy's movie fans, that's a little sad. I thought I'd just let you know. But that is everything we have currently going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button. Subscribe. Please hit subscribe. That would just mean the world to me. But either way, I hope you have a wonderful week. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.